All that Edgar could remember was an ever-surrounding, never-ending darkness. And then he began falling. He landed with a cruel hardness, and a pain jolted through his body. It took him a moment for him to adjust to his new surroundings. Light shined harshly on his face, and yet he could not turn away. He was frozen stiff. At that moment, Edgar realized what he was. He was a puppet. He was built of paper and drawn with pencil. His hair was yarn, only held down by tape and glue. Edgar wanted to yell out, to let the world know that he could think. But he couldn't. The only way he could talk was if someone moved his mouth for him. With Edgar's mind racing, he pondered as to how he could think. No puppets could hold thoughts, and yet he did. There he was, laying on a counter, thinking. Could other objects have thoughts, Edgar wondered? A door handle, piano keys, a funny little clock. But how silly would that be? Of course they couldn't. They are simply objects, without breath or mind. Except Edgar had thoughts. Was he simply the odd one out, cursed, or perhaps gifted with the capacity to think? Was he just an exception to the rule? Or was he put there on purpose, by some great hand, not by the creation of a young child, but by something far more sinister? Had he been constructed by the hand of some satanic force? Or perhaps aliens? Would the aliens come back down to take him back? Had he been sent for some malicious purpose, perhaps to overthrow the world? Edgar felt fear in his heart, fear that these thoughts were true, fear that he would become the evil entity he was made to be. But he would not allow it. No, Edgar would not let himself be a tool for the creepy crawlers that hid in the shadows. He was himself, Edgar, the puppet. He would be no one else. But how could he stop the evil plan that had been put in motion? He could not move. Could that stop him? No, Edgar thought. No, it could not. So Edgar pushed. Ha ha! Edgar thought, as he moved slightly. He really could move. So he pushed again. Using all his force, he kept pushing. Faster and faster, Edgar moved until he reached the edge. Edgar felt the wind move beneath his hair. The never-ending darkness laid behind him, ready to welcome him back from where he came. But Edgar waited, second-guessing this decision. His mind was racing faster than he could handle. But Edgar reassured himself and took a moment to breathe. He would not become a puppet for the hand of evil. And with one last breath, Edgar pushed. And as he fell back from where he once came, Edgar felt at ease, because he knew that everything would be okay.